Good afternoon. It's the 26th, I think. It's Thursday, the 26th of January, 2023. Not completely sure on that number. I think I might have been saying the 25th this morning, but it's pretty sure it's the 26th. Lost my train of thought already. Look at me go, setting a new record. This morning's video did air. It did upload a lot quicker than normal, so it's already live. It's on the other channel, the dark channel, we'll call it for now. Still looking for a name. There's some suggestions being thrown around out there, but we definitely have to rename the channel. As of right now, the market is up slightly. I think the Dow's up around 100 and some. Nasdaq's up 30, and the S&P's up 100 and something on good economic data. I don't know if I'm going to keep reporting because it's not the end of the day. So it's only 3:30ish when I'm reporting this market data, so it's not. And you're going to be seeing this long after I upload it, so it's not timely, and I don't think it's useful. If this were a live feed, it would make more sense, but I don't see what the point would be of me telling you what the current market conditions are a half an hour before the end of the trading day for a video that I'm not uploading until long after the trading day is over. So that may not be a thing that I continue to do. Maybe I think I'd said in a previous video that maybe after the markets close, I'll send myself a little indicator and then report that, but it still doesn't make any sense. If you've got the wherewithal to come and see this video, you've probably got, whether you're using a smartphone or a PC, you've probably got the stock ticker set up as a widget on your phone anyway, so there's really no point in me relaying any news unless it's very, very specific local news to either me, my immediate family, or my immediate vicinity. Anything that scale, it's much easier for you to find on your own or have it just hand fed to you by one of your apps. Recently upgraded to, I'm going to say the wrong version, but whatever the latest Windows version is, I think it's Windows 11. Recently upgraded to that. I'm not digging on it. I think I've said that with every version of Windows I've upgraded to, but it feels like, again, they've taken a lot of things away. I can't cascade windows, I can't tile windows. You can set up workspaces, but there's a very specific set of workspaces you can set up. So it'll lay them out a certain way. Sometimes I just want to tile the windows. I really like that feature because there are times when I have to work in 6 or 8 windows at the same time. Usually when I'm doing sock puppet theater and I need that quick access between windows, and I hate to have to set it up manually. I liked the way the windows would just splash them, and if I had to adjust a couple, I would adjust a couple, but it doesn't seem like that functionality is there anymore. You can pick the workspaces, and you have to pick the individual windows that are going in there. I don't know why they got rid of it, but anyway, if you know how to do the cascade, well, cascade doesn't really help, but tiling does. I've never seen the point in cascading windows. I guess it gets them all organized for you real quick, but there's other ways to do that. There's that film strip at the side and things like that, which even shows your history. Someone turned me onto that recently. In other news, it's no longer the Mega Millions. Someone won the Mega Millions, but now the Powerball is up over $500 million. So that's I think the next drawing for that is on Saturday. So of course I'm going to go out and buy a ticket. It just seems like everything. It seems like almost every week there's a lottery that's really high, and I'm I need to go out and spend my $2. They're going to kill me. They're going to $2 me to death. If I had saved all those $2, I'd have a little stack of $2 as is now. It's not true. Some of my tickets are winners. I've got I currently have one sitting at my house now that's a Powerball winner, which is not the Powerball winner, but just the Powerball, which is $2. And then A couple weeks ago, I'd found one that I hadn't checked, and that was a $10 winner. So I stopped at the Turkey Hill on my way home, turned that one in, got a quick $10. So that's 5 tickets right there. It's practically broke even, almost turning a profit. I was I was talking at length this morning about these channels, and like I am a nothing, I am not a content creator. I'm just here. But I was talking about, like, as you do this more and more, you learn that it's a job. As I mentioned, I wouldn't be doing these videos if I didn't have 4 hours to kill a day to just sit here and talk. And then there's people that have their channels. They have to create real content. They have to make copy. They have to do the video. They have to edit it. They have to store it. They have to, all this stuff. I like, Jesus, it's a full-time. It can be a full-time job. Not to mention, there's like expenses involved. Like as you're doing it, I've seen different creators. They've moved up to better equipment, and I know I'm rehashing the morning video, and I apologize, but it's really impressive what they do, and especially when they can consistently kick out content. Like even if it's just once a week, it's impressive. But there are people that are like putting out daily content, or almost daily content, which is amazing. Pardon me, a little tired. But I have to wonder what these people use as a storage solution. Like I said, I'm talking about getting a newer NAS. I had to dismantle my old NAS because it was old and the technology was flawed. It was not safe to keep it connected to my network, because you had to, in order for it to work, you had to turn off certain things in Windows, which aren't good to have off. So I took everything off the server, put it on my D drive, 2 terabyte solid state drive I have on my PC. And I should probably take the 2 terabyte drive that I had in the server and try to figure out a way to squadge that into my PC as well. But really rather have solid state and not rotating knives, not a rotating disk drive in there. But can use it just for storing archival stuff. But very quickly, like I said, easily within 3 weeks to a month, if I continue to make these videos at the pace that I'm currently making them, I will literally be out of space. And then if I'm starting to collect any kind of music files or clips to add, and if I have in-process edits, it could go even faster. Fortunately, I don't have the free time to do a lot of the post-processing that I'm talking about, so it'll probably be 4 weeks before I'm out of space. As I mentioned, I'm slowly moving the files off my phone and onto my PC, which was what I was originally doing. I was originally putting the files on my PC before I uploaded them to YouTube, but then I found out I could upload them directly from my phone to YouTube, so that's what I did. More of an immediate gratification thing. But I'm moving them to my PC. One of the other tasks that I've given myself to make this feel more like, it's just something I'm doing, not something I have to do, is I've got to go back. Like I've got a few weeks of content here now, and I have to go back, give better titles to the actual episodes, and put timestamps in the description, and or just give a description as to whether or not it's watch-worthy, because some of these are empty, some of them are downright cringy, and I just want to give people fair warning before they start doom scrolling through it to listen to me. I was talking about this morning, I left my home, as I usually do. I left later than I wanted to, but later than I thought I was. It was like somehow I lost a large segment of time, and it happened to me twice while I was doing the video. I know I've only been doing the 20-minute section thing for a brief period of time, but I thought I was sticking to it pretty religiously. I was like, you know, I keep an eye on it, like just mentally, like I know when the time's up. But the first segment, what is he doing? I don't know if that's a turn signal or it's a thing with another thing. Yeah, so yeah, there's a wrecker off to the side of the road picking up a car, and everybody that was in the middle lane, like, they were definitely off to the shoulder. So there was the right lane, the middle lane, and the left lane. The guy that was in the middle lane just suddenly a truck started squadging into my lane, the left lane, and freaked me out. Like, I've nearly gotten crushed by a truck twice while I was in the fast lane. And one time definitely wasn't my fault, but the other time, I don't know, I'd have to really mull it over. I'm not even sure if it was twice. The one time that I vividly remember, because like I thought, I'm done, but I was able to jut out just before he came in. Like, he never saw me. I must have been in his blind spot, and he put on his turn signal. He just started getting over, and not just now, this is like a long time ago. Just started getting over, and I hit the horn and I gunned it. I don't think he even heard my horn. But yeah, I just, like, with inches, like I was up against the wall with inches to go, I made it out as he's pulling in. So anyway, what was I on about this morning? Yeah, lost track of time twice. So segment 1 bled into segment 2. So I quickly ended that and started over, and then segment 2 bled into segment 3. Segment 3 ended properly, as I can remember, and then I did a full segment 4. So yeah, it was an hour and 20 minutes of video, hour and 19, 45 seconds, something like that, maybe 42 seconds. But yeah, the first 2 segments I just completely lost track of time, and like I went over the thing and didn't do the nice, neat little 20-minute slices that I have now decided to start doing. So there. I think I've mentioned this before. I've been taking kiwis to work now. I wash them before I leave the house so I can eat them with the skin on. It's partially out of convenience, partially I'm just hoping someone sees me eating them like that so I appear strange. Or stranger. If either of my buddies, like, I have to imagine my subscriber, I have to imagine that he must have, I have to imagine he has a storage issue based on what he does for a living, but maybe not. Maybe like it's one and done, and like he doesn't keep the data, or maybe it's not as much data as I think it is. Like this, obviously this is a video. This is like 3+ hours a day of, or 2+ hours a day of video. They're pretty big files, like, and I mentioned for some reason the morning files are much larger, not because they're longer, they're just like literally 3 times the size of these afternoon videos. These are well lit. I would have thought these videos would have been a larger file size just because there's more detail, but apparently the darker files take up more data. So, oh yeah, my point was either my subscriber or my other buddy, there's like 3 of us in the group that I'm talking about. The other 2 know who they are. Both computer-ish guys, and one of them probably would have a good opinion on what a solution would be to my, ooh, that doesn't look good, storage issue. I did listen to the news, but I haven't hit this button yet. Crap, where is it? No. Woo! Here comes the sun. Yeah, so one of my buddies might have a suggestion as to what would be the best data storage solution, like whether I should buy my own space. Like I'd like to have a server in the house, like a goodly server, like a rack-bound server, just in case I wanted to serve my own web pages. Like I've got a lot of web space. I'm using it for different things. I think I have at least 7 URLs now. Some of them being used, most of them not. Some of them I'm paying for. I'm paying for stuff I'm not using, databases and things like that. I got to start putting them to good use. But anyway, I would like a large storage. It's not just because I'm doing this and I'm going to need the space for it. Like I said, if my daughter, who's expressed interest in YouTubing, being a YouTube content creator, but hasn't actually done it yet. We've tried recording her, and it hasn't gone well. It's something she wants to do, but she's not comfortable doing. I think if I keep doing these, I can show her that, like, you know, you don't have to be comfortable to do it. I'm very uncomfortable doing this. To some degree, I don't want to do this because it's not just the like I've got free time now. I can just sit here and monologue, but it's the additional tasks outside of here. Like I already lament the fact that I have no free time, and here I am giving myself extra duties. But I think it'll be good to know. Like I said, I like experiencing what other people that are doing this are going through. Like it's like, you know, you wouldn't necessarily think about the content issue. Not that I don't have content, but the what to do with that content, the storage issue. That's not something that normally occurs to you. Like you think, yeah, I eventually run out of hard drive space because I got a bunch of junk. But it becomes a real issue. Like I said, especially if you do YouTube for a living, it becomes a real issue. Like this is something you have to deal with. What are you doing for storage? Like, does it make sense to have it local? Does it make sense to have a server in your house? Should it be stored off-site? I don't know. I'm part, like, me and my wife are very similar in the fact that I don't really want my stuff on someone else's computer. Like, if it's something it's relatively crucial data, you know what I mean? It's like, just don't feel comfortable doing that. Not that I have like a RAID system set up at home. If my hard drive fails, I've lost everything. We do have some things backed up, like I said recently. Like I had a NAS, so we've got a lot of stuff on there. Like it is now duplicated onto a solid state drive on my PC. But I'd really like to have a. In my mind, the perfect thing is to have like a server rack with a bunch of hard drives in it, set up in some kind of array, so that, like, you know, if 2 drives fail, they just rewrite just plug in some new ones, and Bob's your auntie. I don't know that I would have the technical know-how to do that. I mean, I've seen it done. Like I've seen YouTube videos where they talk about their storage solutions. I mean, like, these are the high-end YouTubers, the ones that are like they're ridiculous, you know, where they're setting up a petabyte server and things like that. I don't think that's quite the level. If it was attainable, like if I could reasonably afford it, yeah, why not have a petabyte at home? But it's not, so I won't. That being said, we're up at the end of the first 20-minute segment, so I am going to say, have a wonderful day. Anyway, just remember, every moment, every episode of this you watch, or every segment of this you watch, you get closer and closer. There's a non-zero chance that there is going to be a musical episode. Like, you're just rolling the dice. Every time you hit play on this channel, you're just rolling the dice. You could be walking right into a musical episode. Just rolls the dice and you take your chances. Apologize for the awkward silence. There's a couple things I wanted to talk about, not before, just now, that flashed through my mind, and it's one of those self-editing things. I'd like to talk about it, but it's something we haven't had a chance to do in a long time. We used to do back in Philly, but it was one of two things. Like, one of the things I guess I could talk about is archery. We used to be into archery. I've mentioned that we've got compound bows and long bows at home. We used to shoot target. We used to go to these places and do archery practice. That's not really the thing I wanted to talk about. Although, that being said, it's been a long time. I'd like to take my equipment out, get it checked. Compound bows always frighten me, especially if they're older, because the strings, if they snap, especially like you got an 80-90 pound pole that snaps, that's gonna sting. So the other thing I'd like to do is get back into just activities, and one of them is I actually enjoy roller skating. It feels like really good exercise on my legs, and I have roller skates. Me and my wife have roller skates. The wheels, we've had them for so long, the wheels have decayed. The skates need new wheels, or we just need new skates, either way. I believe the roller rink that was close to us, that we did go to a couple of times, I believe it closed. I believe it was bought by someone, but there are other roller rinks around. But I definitely got to get some extracurricular activities going. I think we have 3 bikes at the house now, but you really can't go bike riding in winter. Not just from an exercise standpoint, I just got to get moving. I guess not from an exercise standpoint, but just got to break the routine. So there's this neat trick I know how to do, and I'll for my viewer, the next time you see me in person, ask me to do that trick with the spoons. It's spoon singular, or multiple spoons, depending on how many times you want to see the trick. But it involves destroying spoons. But it's a pretty neat trick. I think I've shown it to you before, but I don't know if I ever showed you how I do it. You see me darting my head around like a crazy person. I'm trying to figure out what time it is, and now I know what time it is. There's a difference between the time that's on the tape. I'm taping myself, and the time that's on the clock. I wanted to know what time it was on the clock. I wanted to know how I was doing for time. I have a pretty set routine at work, and there's a very specific time that I start going towards the door. Yesterday I was interrupted, and it wasn't too bad because traffic was relatively clear. Excuse me. Today I got out pretty scot-free, but it was like a slight delay. Yeah, okay, I am where I think I am. Hills are alive with the sound of Griswold. I'm making good time, making very good time. I don't know what I'm going to do for dinner. I took pork out of the freezer yesterday. It should be thawed today. But when I get home, there's not enough time to cook a pork roast. I'd feel fine if that was the reason I lost time this morning, because I threw pork and a bunch of vegetables into a crock pot, but that's not what happened. I lost 15 minutes. I have no idea where it went. Actually, I lost more than 15 minutes, but I'm a little upset. I could really use that 15 minutes. Oh, stop. Some people, I don't know if they're serious. Let's see. No, he's not serious. The care and use of turn signals is really important. Like, use your turn signal to signal that you're switching lanes. Especially if you're going to switch lanes, but only when you're switching lanes. Like, stop driving with your turn signal on. Nobody knows what you're doing. It's a pet peeve of mine. That is a big, big cloud. The sun just went behind a big, big cloud. I could dice it and do a stir fry, but I don't. Well, I got celery, bell peppers. I don't have any onion substitute. I have onion, but not any kind of fake onion. Don't necessarily need it. Celery, carrots, bell peppers. I think I have some radishes. Canned mushrooms. Maybe I'll do a stir fry instead of doing a roast. Maybe I'll chop up the roast, give it a very quick salt, dry brine, and make a stir fry. Or maybe I'll stop at Kentucky Fried Chicken on the way home and just grab a bucket of chicken. Chicken tastes so much better out of a bucket. It sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but I 100% mean that. There's something, like I remember as a child getting Kentucky Fried Chicken, and that bucket, like there's like the way it captured the smell. Like I don't know if it was intentional, if like there was a lot of market research that went into like the exact size and shape and density of the bucket, but like Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket of chicken is like, it's much like coffee. It's like crack. It's very something iconic about it. Yeah, obviously it's iconic, but you know what I mean. There's just like it's just your mouth waters just thinking about that bucket of chicken. Plus, it makes you hungry, so you're glad. Oh, I'm hungry. How much chicken do I want? A bucket. I want a bucket of chicken. It's just enough. I probably won't do that. The whole point of me going shopping was to avoid wasting money on things like that. So I think I was telling you guys about the cat. I think I mentioned it in the other channel. Like my eye, yeah, I did, because I remember I was leaning in. I don't know if you guys could see it. I don't know if it's that bad now, but I had a really bad bloodshot eye because my freaking cat recently has gone crazy. So I'm allergic to cats, but the cat sleeps with us. I've got 4 cats, and the cats sleep with us. 3 of the 4 cats often sleep with us. Then one cat is freaking crazy now. It'll sleep with us, and it wants attention, and like, I don't know if it's going through its second kittenhood, but and you know what not to do. You can't move. Like, once everyone's settled in the middle of the night, you can't roll over, you can't accidentally bump into the cat, because if you wake it up or you disturb it in any... Oh. Jeez Louise. Nothing to see here. So, cat, disturb the cat, and the cat goes it wants to be petted, it wants to be under the blanket, it wants to be on top of the blanket, and if you're not touching it, it just meow, 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 meow. It's like, it's okay, go back to sleep, like meow, 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 meow. It's like, and this keeps happening like in the middle of the night, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like, you can't do this. Like, you've got to stop. You've got to knock it off. It's very cute, but I need my sleep. Oh, that was a cop. So there's traffic, like there's 2 lanes here or whatever, and the cop was trying to get by. I was trying to get over. The guy next to me, instead of pulling up and letting me get over, he just kind of stopped, and I'm like, move up. So I had to go up and get over so that the cop could get past me. I didn't suspect I was getting pulled over at all. So yeah, that's what that nonsense was, if you were wondering. How exciting was that? I have trouble swallowing in the afternoon. I've noticed that's been a consistent theme here. What was I on about, guys? Chicken? Oh, right, yeah. I don't want to buy fast food because it just filled my pantry. It'd be silly to be spending more money on fast food when I can make food at home. And that's how I became a billionaire, by making dinner at home. That washer fluid low. I got like 7 minutes ish left in this segment. I was wondering if I should do one of those 2 are lies and 1 is true bits, or should I do 2 is true and 1 is a lie? I don't know. I'm trying to think of the 3 to do. Like, I think I want to be more prepared for this, because I want to make sure that the 3 stories are. I think I want to try to make them in a similar vein, and you have to figure out which one is completely untrue. So it'd be 2 true story. Yeah, I think that's the way to do it, because that way it's really funny. You're trying to figure out, like, 2 of these actually happened. You're trying to figure out what's the one. It's like, and then you're going to debate. It's like, well, is it the craziest sounding one to me? Is that the one that's not true? Yeah, so it's that whole thing. Yeah, so I think, yeah, I don't think I just want to belt one out right now. I'm sorry for the tease. I think I want to wait until, like, I've actually made some bullet points for myself, and, like, I've picked stories that go well together. So again, my apologies. Have I mentioned the pink gorilla joke today? At some point, I'm going to end up not telling the pink gorilla joke, and I'm going to tell you the structure of the pink gorilla joke. Or I'll just tell the joke. really did consider asking my boss if I could work remote tomorrow, but I didn't, so I've got to go into the office. I don't want to ask for a single day. I want to warm them up to the idea of me being remote 2 days a week. I think Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the days to do it. Either that or Wednesday and Friday. It's a tough call. Tuesday and Wednesday is nice because they're back to back. Wednesdays and Fridays are nice because Wednesday breaks up the week, and Friday you get that early start to the weekend, and I don't have to deal with that Friday traffic. So it's a toss up. We'll have to figure it out. You could figure it out for us. You could just say no, and then we don't have to worry about what day it is. Yikes. So I'm stopped, but it's not. This is an area where, traffic's moving, but it moves weird. I remember years ago I was watching a documentary about traffic patterns and how they tried to fix certain things. I don't know if they kept continuing with that technology, but there's a fascinating thing that happens when you have, and I think 422 is a good example of this. When you have a long stretch of traffic, even if it's moving, what happens is you end up getting these ripples that go down the traffic. So even though it's the same volume all the way down, what happens is the traffic bunches together. So you actually get that effect where you've got this stop, and traffic stops up there, and then it gets, like, people come to that stop, and that stoppage of traffic works its way through the line of traffic in waves, like a kind of like ripples expanding in a pool. Not exactly sure why it happens. I don't know if they discussed it, but they said it's an actual phenomenon. When you have a line of traffic, even though there might not be an accident, there might not be any extreme volume, you get this thing where the cars bunch together and you end up getting these extreme slowdowns or stops, and then it starts moving again. I wonder what I'm going to talk about during the third segment, because that's coming up really soon. I hope it's something good. At least for my subscriber's sake, because he's just getting over an illness. Well, he's not over it yet, but he's, I would hate for him to come back into viewing these videos and just be disappointed with the complete lack of content. It would make me feel bad. It would hurt my heart. None of that is true. Well, my subscriber is ill. That part is true. Well, that brings us to the end of segment number 2, Afternoon Drive 2026, Thursday, January 26th. It is not 2026, it's 2023. Have a wonderful day. I sign off with the date? I'm sorry, I'm just realizing that I signed off. I'm a little tired, but I just realized I signed off by saying the date. Anyway, it's Thursday, 26th of January, 2023. This is section 3 of the afternoon drive home with your host, me. I was contemplating what to make for dinner earlier. I know what I'm going to make for dinner now. So that's put to bed. I got a free coffee this morning. If you're not a fan of the other channel, you go to the other channel, you'll see that I went to McDonald's and they gave me, what the hell is that? They gave me a free coffee. I was shocked and appalled. I wasn't either of those things, but I was really happy. Like, great. Saving you $2 and some change. Woohoo! Now I have to do something nice for them. This karmic baggage. It's always an interesting question. Earlier I was talking about Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I don't know if there is such a thing as karmic baggage. Like, you know, if you're like me and you eat meat, animals die, and I'm lucky I live in the distant future where I don't even have to kill them myself. You know, there's people out there who'll just kill them for me, send them to fast food places and prep them, and all I gotta do is shove them down my gullet. But if two separate people, very similar people in all respects, eat 6 pieces of chicken, and the one person eats 6 pieces of chicken from the same chicken, this is not intentional, it's just luck of the draw, and the other person eats 6 pieces of chicken from 6 separate chickens, like, do they have more karmic baggage? Like, are they responsible for more deaths, or is there, like, is it completely equal? Is there nothing wrong with it? Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with eating chickens. I think chickens are delicious. That's not a really good argument, because what if people are delicious? It's like, there's nothing wrong with eating people. People are delicious. That just doesn't, the same argument wouldn't work. I can't see a jury of my peers saying, you know what, he has a really good point. Have you tried people? Oh my God. That's just not a line of thought we should even continue to go down, but spitting again. Anyway, my point is, like, if you believe in karmic retribution and, you know, the souls of the poor little animals that I'm showing on, is there a difference between the guy that gets, by the luck of the draw, gets 6 pieces of one chicken, and the guy who gets 6 separate chicken pieces, 6 pieces from 6 separate chickens? It's a hypothetical, pointless question, because you're not going to answer, and you may not have an answer. And if you do have an answer, you're wrong. Whatever it is, I'm pretty sure you're wrong, or at least you can't back it up in any meaningful way. You can have a very strong opinion, though, and I value your very strong opinion. If you got a weak-ass opinion, though, I hate that. I said ass. I lost my G rating. Is ass still a bad word? I mean, like, not in the context of donkey or whatever. Like, if you say ass, is that... I don't know. I was talking about comfort movies this morning, and brings up another thing. Like, do any of my viewer have comfort books? Like, do they have books that they go to? I know a lot of us as adults, we don't make time to read. I got to read a lot of stuff when I was younger, but the older I get, the less time I make for sitting down and reading books. But if you do read books, are there comfort books that you have? Are there books that you reread over and over again? I used to have, when I was a kid, there was a book, and I really want to find this book, and I've tried Google searching, and I was really young, so this is embarrassing. I don't know if it was one of those books with pictures, like colorful pictures and really big words, or if it was like a book where it was like kind of a novel and there was like no pictures and there's pages. I remember the story, it was I remember like a very small snippet of the story. It was about kittens, and there was a sea captain, and there was these kittens, and there was this story. But I remember, like, I literally got in trouble from the librarian because I kept taking this book out over and over and over again and just reading it and reading it over and reading it over again. That's not my comfort book now. I don't even remember the title of that book, let alone most of the story. There was another one after that. There was a whole series of books that were done in watercolors, maybe before that. The one I liked was called Ultraviolet Catastrophe. There's also like The Sheep in the Blanket. But that's one of those, like, you know, big colorful, like maybe a word per page thing. Little girl visits her crazy uncle who keeps talking about ultraviolet catastrophe. At the time, I was too young to understand what that phraseology meant. I really should revisit the book. I still have that one and find out if there's actually like more about ultraviolet catastrophe. Is it's something. It's a term at the beginning of quantum physics when they were trying to I guess why they started quantizing things, because you can just look it up. Like you'll find plenty of little YouTube things that explain what the ultraviolet catastrophe is, and it just has to do with things running off to infinity unless they're quantized. So, but I liked that. I liked that particular book. Actually, now that I'm putting two and two together, interesting. So anyway, my question to you is, as an adult, I never got to mine. Like there's a couple. Like I liked The Talisman. I liked Weave World. I think I read The Talisman twice. Weave World I never finished. I told you guys about that. And another comfort book. There's a couple that are both science fiction-y. One's just completely ridiculous. It's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy trilogy, which I think is 5 or 6 books. And then there's the Foundation series by Isaac Asimov. Nobody I know has read the Foundation series by Isaac Asimov, and it's a good read, and I just I want to discuss the books with people, but there's nobody who's read it. I've been trying to get my daughter, at one point I wanted to just read it to my daughter so I could discuss the book with somebody. I thought it was really good. Some of the, I'm not going to discuss the finer points. You guys haven't read it, you don't care. But it's a fascinating story. Really well written. Based on a true story. No, it's not based on a true story. I mean, it might be loosely based on like things that have happened, but it's obviously it's a futuristic space opera. I apologize for the yawning. I'm tired. So I was talking with somebody at work. I was near the coffee machine getting coffee, and talking about vacations and things like that, and I like saying we haven't really gone on a vacation in a while. Actually, I hate to keep doing this to you guys. Let me talk to corporate about this one before I actually talk about it here, just because one, it's a really good idea what he had mentioned, but two, how there's a little too much information I have to share to go further with that thought. So just forget that I even said anything. What vacation? Who? No, it has to do with the destination and logistics, and but anyway, sorry about that. Sorry about that dead end. Ooh, dead deer. Merck be calling me? I'm not going to answer it, because if I answer it, you guys go away and you may never come back. Do you ever think that, like, when you stop talking to someone on the phone and you hang up, they just stop existing? They were only there during the length of that phone call? Merck. Maybe they'll leave a voicemail. It's all very exciting. So yeah, we're doing really well here. I actually have to make a stop on the way home, but it's around the place where I generally stop recording anyway, so it's not really going to affect the overall length. So you're like, oh, please make it early. No, it's not going to affect the overall length of this video. If I decide to do a segment 4, which is about 8 minutes from now, which means I probably am. I'm going to start a segment 4, but I'm making really good time, so instead of being an entire chunklet, it might just be a bonus track. I don't know where I'm getting this terminology and what differentiates one from the other, but neither do you, so back up. There's a weird line. There's a weird line that I'm walking when I do these videos. Like, to some degree, they're mildly cathartic. They allow me to talk about certain things, but unfortunately, there's a lot of things I can't talk about. You know, like I talk about like my social anxiety and stuff like that. And there's like I would like to discuss more openly and frankly, but I can't. Mostly because corporate would have my ass. Like, I know what you're thinking. It's like, you could just make these private, and then it's not exactly the same thing. Like, if I'm just recording it for myself and no one else is seeing it, it's not really the same effect. That's not really why I'm doing these. I've just noticed that they have a mild. They have that thing where, like, even though I'm thinking certain things and I'm not saying them out loud, because I'm talking about something else while they're going through my head, there is like that little bit of therapeutic there. Yeah, I can make up words. This is a really tough call. Depending on how things go through the next 2 lights, really determines whether or not we're going to do a bonus track. The fact that I'm still sitting here is like making it really lean. Like, if I catch this light, we're definitely doing a bonus track. You're stuck with another like about 10 minutes of 10 to 20 minutes of this. So you better hope for light traffic. So I don't remember where I was. I was talking about on the other channel. I was talking about the way you form opinions about things. Like I before I got all enamored with Outback, I was interested in Saturn vehicles, and it had a lot to do with their company, like the image that their company portrayed. That they were really strong, interested in the the employees and things like that. So it made me want to spend my money there with that company. And then I don't think I ever got to this part of the story. I don't know if I got distracted or I did get to it and I just don't remember. But then there was that big strike when Saturn employees went on strike, and it completely destroyed it. I think I did finish that thought, because then I went on to talk about how the trial between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp kind of ruined the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise for me. That was a comfort movie for me, and now I just don't want to watch it because like the people became too real. I don't want them to be real. I don't want to know what's going on in their lives. I want, like, we pay them to make movies. I don't want to know their dirty laundry. I mean, I definitely want them to take care of whatever they need to take care of, but I wish it hadn't been fed to me nonstop, because now I've had it. Like, you know, I don't hate Johnny for any of this. Like, I hate the fact that I kept getting fed, like, his dirty laundry and her dirty laundry, and, like, you know, they each made each other seem like terrible people. Just like politics. Like, you know, you hate all politicians because you're hearing the other person talk about that politician. So it kind of, like, even though this has nothing to do with the movies, I like the movies mainly because Johnny Depp made those movies. He's the reason you watch. You know, they're good pirate movies, but without Johnny Depp, it's just not the same thing. They're dead to me. They're dead to me. Yeah, this does not bode well for you guys. I'm stuck at this light too. It's turning green. I might not even make it through this green. If I don't make it through this green light, you guys might be stuck for another 20-minute segment. And may God may have mercy on your soul. It's a close one. This is a long yellow, so at this point, I'm definitely making it through because it hasn't even turned yellow yet. Send I was mentioning that my subscriber is under the weather. He is getting better. He's not in the thick of it anymore, but he's on his way out. He's still sick, but apparently not as bad as he was. And we're all pulling for you, buddy. Hang in there, champ. I never sound serious. It's ridiculous. It's a curse. It's a blessing. It's a skill. It's a dessert topping. It's a floor wax. Everybody else is going. That was bizarre. All right, so I think you guys got lucky. Based on where I am right now, I don't think it's worth doing another segment, so I am going to end this one at 3. So I'm actually signing off. This isn't one of those fake sign-offs you see so many times a day. This is actually the end of the last segment of the afternoon drive. So I am going to do what I do, which is say at the end of all of these. I think all of these I've said this. I remember originally lamenting I don't have a sign-off of any kind, but not that this is a good one or even really a sign-off, but have a wonderful day.